So as always, those of you who have been regulars, you know by now, we start the lesson off with a bit of mental maths. So today the mental maths is a little bit different, and I'm just going to do the first one with you just so that you understand what to do. So it says here we have to match. Okay, it says draw a line. You can't draw lines because it's on the screen, but you can write down. So we are going to match the multiplication and division sentences. So here we have 8 times 9, and that is how much. You can put it in the chat. How much is 8 times 9? Pop it in the chat. Let's see. 8 times 9, guys. Boom. No, it's not 81. It's 72. There we go. So this is going to be 72. So on this, in this column, in the right-hand column, you need to then go and look for the division sentence that's going to match it. Okay, so I'm going to give everyone a chance to look which division sentence is going to match 8 times 9 is 72. Which one is going to go with it? Pop it in the chat if you know. There we go, 72 divided by 8. So the one that matches here is over here, and it is 72 divided by 8. And that's what you're going to do for each of them. So for today, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to complete the rest of them. And then in 2 minutes time, we'll see how many you got right. Okay, so I'm going to start the timer just now. Get ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Just do your best. It's no competition. You just try your best. Okay. Got about half a minute to go. Okay, and time is up. Let's see. Okay, I did the answers over here earlier, so we can go quick. So let's have a look. So 8 times 9 we did first. That is 72 divided by 8. That division goes with the 8 times 9. 12 times 11 is 132. So 132 divided by 12 matches with 12 times 11. Then 9 times 12, we work that out, that's 108. And 108 divided by 9 is going to be 12. So those two go together. 8 times 6 is 48. So 48 divided by 8 is going to be 6. So 8 times 6 and 48 divided by 8 go together. Then 6 times 7 is 42. 42 divided by 6 will go with 6 times 7. So this one over here. And then 4 times 9 is 36. So by now, if you did them, you probably caught on that you must just look for the number. So if this is 36, just go to this side and look for 36. 36 divided by 4, that's 9. Okay, so those two go together. And 11 times 7 is 77. So here we go to 77. So 77 divided by 11 goes with 11 times 7. And then 7 times 8 is 56. So we go here to 56 divided by 7. And then 6 times 12 is 72. So 72 divided by 6 gives me 12. And then 9 times 9 is 81. So 81 divided by 9 will go with that. Okay, so there we go. What did we have here? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So give yourself however many you attempted and how many you got right. And if you attempted all 10 and how many you got right. So the way we always do it, and see what you got. So a few people are messaging me to say they got 10 out of 10. If you attempted 5 and you got 5 right, that's wonderful as well. 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Okay, and remember, we always aim for improvement. So next time, we do mental maths every lesson. Okay, so every time you come to Watobe for grade 7 for mental maths, for maths, you're going to do mental maths. So you really have a chance to improve. Okay, so if it didn't go so well this time around, never mind. We are going to pick it back up again on Monday. So like I always say, in your book, I hope that you are keeping track of all your mental maths, and maybe you can start seeing a little bit of an improvement. And that's what we aim for, right? We just aim for improvement. We don't aim for 100, we just aim to get better. Okay, well done everybody, excellent with that. So we are now going to start our lesson for today, which is about ratio. Okay, and just a reminder that Wednesday, for those of you who are new, Wednesday is quiz day. So later on this evening, you will get the link to the quiz, and then you'll get to do it online. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to try this. That's why I was having ratio stuff up earlier so that you could see it. Now I hope I switch around correctly. New share, there we go. Introduction to ratio. Okay, so before we start this, I just want to see by way of a thumbs up in the chat, who has done ratio at school, either last year or this year? Just put a thumbs up. If you've done it, put a thumbs down if you haven't done it. Thumbs down from a few people. Ups and downs, but mostly ups. Okay. All right. Well, if you didn't do it, don't worry. We are going to take it slow, and we're going to go through it properly. Right. So let's start. Introduction to ratio. Let's do that. Okay. And I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit whilst doing this. And yeah, we're going to start here. Okay. So, and again, if you like these slides, you're welcome to take some screenshots of them on your phone or on your laptop, tablet, wherever it is that you're watching from. Okay, so here we've got pets, cats and dogs, and there are 7 pets. So we can say that there are 3 cats and 4 dogs, right? So if we count them, we'll see 4 dogs and 3 cats. So we can state that in a ratio. So that's what ratios help us with. Like if we have quantities like this and a group of things, like in this case, pets, and some of it's one way and some of it's the other way, then we can use a ratio to express that. So to say the 3 cats and the 4 dogs, we can say the ratio of cats to dogs is 3 to 4. So that sign with the what is it called, a colon, that when you pronounce it, you say it's 3 to 4. So the ratio of cats to dogs is 3 to 4. Now we can flip this around and say it the other way, the ratio of dogs to cats, and that is 4 to 3. So we could say the ratio of dogs to cats is 4 to 3. All right, so that's just a basic idea of a ratio. So let's see. How can we define what a ratio is? In other words, how do we put this into words? How do we describe what a ratio is? So a ratio is just the relative sizes of 2 or more values. So relative sizes means if we look at the cat and the dog, and the number of cats and the number of dogs, that means those 2 quantities are relative to each other. Okay. Now, here's another one. Write the ratio of big green balls to small yellow balls. So I want you to just quickly give it a go there where you are. What is the ratio of the big green balls to the small yellow balls? Just write that ratio quickly before I put the answer up. Oh, sorry, Ms. Kiabeswe, are we not seeing the slides?
Yes, it's still on intro.
Just tell me, hey, don't let me go too far ahead without telling me. Okay, let's do this. I'm just going to change I think the problem, I know what the problem is. So we're going to go again. Go back here. Okay. Right, guys, I see all the hands up. I assume it is for the slides. Do you see introduction to ratio? Just let me know, please, Ms. Kia.
Yes.
Okay, and is it changing?
Yes.
Okay, right. So there's what I was talking about with the pets and the dogs and the cats. You guys are probably wondering, what is this teacher on about? So here we go. The dogs and the cats. So as I was saying, we have 7 dogs here and 7 pets, 3 cats, 4 dogs. So the ratio of dogs to cats is, or cats to dogs is 3 to 4, and when you have dogs to cats, that's 4 to 3. Okay, is everyone with me? Just put a thumbs up in the chat and let me know that you are understanding. Thumbs up. There we go. Okay, everyone is in the same place after our little technical glitch. Okay, good stuff. So we were saying, how can we define what a ratio is? And that is just, if we have 2 quantities and they are relative to each other, then we can use a ratio to express those 2 quantities. All right. So in this case, it was the cats to the dogs, and we can use that ratio to express that. Okay. Now, this is where I stopped, and I asked you guys to write this ratio. Guys, put your hands down. It's not question time. We don't put hands up unless it's question time, so please put hands down. So here we've got, write the ratio of big green balls to small yellow balls. So put that in the chat if you got the ratio of the green balls and the yellow balls next to each other. The ratio, okay? I don't want how many there is. I want to know the actual ratio. Okay, so remember, however many there are of the first quantity. So the sentence says the ratio of green balls to small yellow balls. So that means we must put the green number first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the yellow is 4. So the ratio is 5 to 4. Okay, 5 to 4. There we go. Here's another one for you to try. Write the ratio of oranges to apples. So oranges to apples, oranges goes first and then apples. So write that down and put it in the chat. Oranges to apples. So we count how many oranges there are and how many apples. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 5 to 7. Well done. Not 7 to 5 because we have to put oranges first. The oranges number goes first, so that's 5 and then to 7. Okay, 5 to 7. Now, when we do ratios, we need to write them in simplest form. So what is the ratio of girls to boys? So first write that ratio down for the picture that's up now. What is the ratio of girls to boys? Just the ratio of girls to boys. Okay, so how many girls do we see here? I see 1, 2 girls, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boys. So girls to boys is 2 to 6. So that goes first. There we go. Now, to simplify that, what is the ratio of girls to boys? We can simplify that 1 to 3. So if it's 2 to 6, we simplify it, make it 1 to 3. And how do we do that? I'm going to show you just now. But it basically has to do with taking out that highest common factor between 2 and 6 that we had there. So the highest common factor is 2 and then dividing by that number. So I divide the 2 by 2, that gives me 1, and the 6 by 2 gives me 3. So that is a ratio in its simplest form. We always have to put it in simplest form. So the ratio 2 to 6 can be written as 1 to 3. Okay, let's see. In this grid, there are 16 squares. 4 of them are green and 12 are blue. We could say that the ratio of the green squares to the blue squares is 4 to 12, right? So 16 in total, 4 are green and 12 are blue. So the ratio of the 2 is 4 to 12. Now we can simplify that. So what do you think that is if you simplify it? 4 to 12. What is the highest number that can go into 4 and into 12? Highest number. I see people putting answers and they're simplifying, but you can still simplify further because we look for the highest number that can go into 4, that can also go into 12. And you see why we need to know our division and multiplication so well, because it all comes down to that. Everything we've been doing the last little bit has been about multiplication and division. Okay, so if it's 4 to 12, we say 4 is the highest common factor, and we divide the 4 by 4, and that's 1, and then 12 divided by 4 is 3. So in its simplest form, it is 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, the ratio 1, 2, 3. Okay, right, here's another one that you can try. If you weren't so sure about that one, let's do this one. We've got let's see. Okay, let's go back. So in this grid, there are 30 squares. 10 of them are green and 20 are blue. So the ratio is 10 to 20. What is going to be the ratio in its simplest form? Simplest form. Remember we said what is the highest number that can go into 10 that can also go into 20? People are simplifying, but you're not going all the way yet. I see 1 to 4, I see 2 to 4, I see 5 to 2, but that's not it yet. Okay, so let's see if we think about it in a different way. We can arrange it. So instead of having it all over like that, let's arrange it like this. It's still the same. We're just rearranging it to make it easier. So that's 5 and that's 5. And so it's 5, 10 green, 20 blue. So to work out the simplest form, we divide by the highest common factor. So 10 to 20. The highest common factor, the biggest number that can go into 10, that can also go into 20 is 10. So we divide 10 by 10, that's 1, and 20 by 10, that's 2. And our final answer is 1 to 2. So if you shouted out that over in the chat, well done, that is what it was. I see a yay. Okay, let's try another one. Yes, purple to red. So we've got 4 purple and 12 red. So the ratio is 4 to 12. That's right. Put that in the chat first. What is the ratio of purple to red? It's 4 to 12. And then what is our simplest form here? If it's 4 to 12, what can we simplify to? 1 to 3. What goes into 4? The biggest number, the highest common factor that goes into 4, that also goes into 12, and that is 4. And then we divide the 4 and the 12 by it. Okay. Right. So last little bit about equivalent ratios. So let's see what we've got here. In this grid, we have purple squares, 4 purple squares and 12 red squares. So first of all, we said that the ratio of red to purple is 4 to 12. By dividing by the highest common factor, we got 1 to 3. Perfect. I see lots of people saying that in the chat. That's great, guys. Keep it up. And keeping the ratio the same, we could add to the pattern, right? So just watch carefully. So if we keep the ratio the same, in other words, we keep it 1 to 3 or 4 to 12, we can add to the pattern. So now we have 5 purple squares and 15 red squares. That's 5 to 15. And what do you get if you simplify the ratio of 5 to 15? What do you get? 1 to 3, that's it, yeah. So 5 to 15, 4 to 12, that is all what we call equivalent ratios. All right, I think I'm going to stop it there and go back to our lesson. And let's do that. Go here. There we go. All right. So that was just a bit of an introduction to ratio. Let's carry on with some activities. Before we start, I'm going to take some questions. Question time. Those of you who do not have questions, you can start with the first 3 questions that are up on the board. Okay, Bridget. Bridget, you can ask your question.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, how do you simplify, how do you get the simple form of a factor? A ratio.
Yeah, so you look at the 2 numbers and you look for the highest common factor, and then you divide the ratio by the highest common factor. We're going to do more of that now, so just listen again.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Next is offense. Everyone else, you're carrying on with question A, B, and C while I take some questions. Offense, you can unmute.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, ma'am, with the equivalent ratios, ma'am, with the last slide you show, ma'am, must it always be what is this called? An even number, or can it be odd?
It can be odd or even.
So it's not subjected to one of them.
No, not at all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. And next is Ishmael.
Good afternoon. Ma'am,
Ishmael, ask your question.
ma'am, are there any other methods to show them how to calculate the simplest form?
Not that I can think of right now. I think that's pretty much how you do it. We are going to still do ratios with fractions, and then you simplify the fraction, but that's pretty much how you do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right, guys. So let's have a look. I see people say the first bunch of answers are done. So what is the ratio of grey to white? Put it in the chat. Ratio of grey to white. So grey goes first. So you have to write the grey number first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 5 for the white. Then ratio of triangles to circles. 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. Circles is 3. Okay, 4 to 3, and then snakes to birds. Snakes must go first. I see 5 snakes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 birdies. 5 to 6. Good stuff. Wonderful. Okay. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit, and let's do some equivalent ratios. So what we've got here is 1 to 2. That is the same as saying 2 to 4. How did we get that? We said we can multiply by 2 each time. So if we multiply by 2, we get 2 to 4. If we multiply 1 to 2 by 3, we get 3 to 6. If we multiply by 4, we get 4 to 8. If we multiply by 5, we get 5 to 10. And if we multiply by 6, you get 6 to 12. Yes, you can think of the timesing by 2 and the timesing by 4 as doubling, definitely. So all of these numbers in the first example, those are all equivalent ratios. Okay, so now we start with 1 to 3. We're going to times by 2. So 1 times 2 gives me 2. 3 times 2 gives me 6. So 2 to 6 is an equivalent ratio to 1 to 3. And if we times by 3, we go 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So 3 to 9, that's also an equivalent ratio. So next one is times by 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. And if you go 5, it's 5 and 15. And times by 6, so we times the 1 by 6 and 3 by 6, that's 18. Okay, so let's just do C and D, and just do them on your own there where you are, and I'll ask for you to put your answers in the chat in a minute or so. While everyone's working, I'll take just 1 or 2 more questions. Brilliant. Brilliant. You can unmute and ask your question. Brilliant's gone. Okay, Komet Sehang, you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, yes.
Sorry, ma'am. Now I understand.
Okay, wonderful. Right, let's give someone else a chance. Nosipo, is that you? You can unmute. Nosipo.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi there.
I wanted to ask how do you get the number straight to the ratio?
Say that again.
How do you simplify the number?
How do you simplify the ratio? Okay, we'll
Yes.
practice some more now and then I'll show you again, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Right. So let's go over here and put your answers in the chat for question C. We are creating equivalent ratios for 2 to 5, this one here. And first we times by 2 and then by 3. So put your answers in the chat. 6 to 15, nice. And then after that, we'll do 2 times 4 is 8. 8, and then 5 times 4 is 20. And then someone says here 16 times 40. I think we need to calculate that again. So if it's 2 to 5, then we're going to times by 5 in this next column. So that is 2 times 5 is 10, and 5 times 5 is 25. So 10 to 25 is also an equivalent ratio of 2 to 5. Okay, and then I'm just going to do this last one because we still have something else we need to do. And then 2 times 6, that's going to give me 12, and 5 times 6 is 30. Okay, you're welcome to take a screenshot of the remaining questions and to practice them at home. But that's all we basically do to create equivalent ratios. Okay, and then lastly, we can write ratios as fractions. And that's going to be after next week, we're going to do exponents, and then we are going to dive into fractions. Okay, so let's look at this. We've got the doggies again. So there's 3 of them and a cat. So the ratio of cats to dogs is 1 to 3. So to put that as a fraction, there's 1 cat and there's 3 dogs. So the ratio of cats to dogs is 1 to 3. Okay, so we can write it here in our sort of thinking bubble, and that is the same as saying 1 over 3. 1 over 3 is the same as 1 to 3. Okay. Right, try this one on your own. The ratio of apples to pears is 3 to 2. Apples there are 3, pears there are 2. So we can just write it as a fraction. What would the fraction be, the apples to pears as a fraction? Apples to pears is a fraction. Yeah, so the ratio of apples to pears is like it is over here. It's 3 to 2. So we can write the fraction as 3 over 2. You can also say that of the 5 objects that are there, the 5 fruits that are there, 3 out of 5 are apples and 2 of the 5 are pears. But the ratio of apples to pears is 3 over 2. Okay, I think we only have time for one more. Yeah, let's do this last one. So for every 4 squares, how many triangles are there? I see 1, 2, 3 triangles. There we go. So the squares are 4 and the triangles are 3. So we have all together here, we have 7 objects, 7 shapes. So we can say 4 of those 7 are squares and 3 of the 7 are rectangles. But the ratio of squares to triangles are 4 to 3. And that's the same as writing it as 4 over 3. Okay. Right, I'm going to end it there because we need to still do our quiz this evening. And thank you, everybody. Well done for working so hard. There's a few questions we didn't get to, but it's not the end of the world. I just wanted to make sure that you have a good refresher in ratio and how to write ratios and simplify ratios.